Welcome in, pals. Somehow I forgot to film an introduction for this video, so I thought I would just quickly pop in and introduce what we're doing. Today we're letting a random comment picker choose from your guys' comments, and you get to pick the books that I'm reading this week. On a video maybe like a few weeks back now, I did a physical TBR where I went through every book that I own that I haven't yet read, and I asked you guys to leave in the comments out of all of those books what you wanted to see me read. So in today's video we pick 3 books. Each round I select 2 comments at random using this random generator, and then of those 2 comments, those 2 books, I get to pick which one I want to read. So it's a spoiler-free reading vlog as always, 3 books randomly chosen by you guys, and I think that's all the housekeeping we need to do. So I'll just let you get on into it. Subscribe if you haven't already and enjoy the video. Lads, it is time to pick our first book. I am feeling nervous. Very, very nervous. As I went over in the introduction, we're going to be picking 2 books at random from all of your comments, and then I get the final say out of those 2 books. But I don't really know what I'm in the mood for. Everyone knows I've been in a massive book slump. I feel like I want something quick, fun, fast. Other than that, don't really know. There's no genre that I'm like drawn to right now, so I don't know. I just hope you guys pick well for me. So we are putting the video link in. Okay, it says we have 595 comments to pick from. Can you guys even see that? I don't know. Okay, book option number 1 is I Fell in Love with Hope. Okay, that's like a literary sad romance. Okay, that could be a good option. That has been on my TBR for so long. I think I even said in the video, I was like, people comment this because I need to read it, I need to get to it. Okay, that's not a bad first option. Okay, I Fell in Love with Hope, and our second book option is Neon Gods. Very different vibes. Okay, Neon Gods is, well, I don't really know. I thought it was like dark romance, but then I've seen people saying it's fantasy, so I don't really know. 2 books that honestly not necessarily tip top of my TBR. I probably wouldn't have picked them for myself at this specific time, but that's the whole point of this video, is that you guys get to pick. Okay, I think I might regret this because I have been in a literary fiction slump, but I think I'm gonna go for I Fell in Love with Hope, just because it's been on my TBR for so long and it could finally be time. Okay, let's do it. Let's go for I Fell in Love with Hope. That is book number 1. Let's get into the reading. I'm about a third into I Fell in Love with Hope. I have been listening to the audiobook and we are pretty much exactly 33% in, so I thought we would touch base. This book is, well, I've had it described as a romance. The more that I'm reading, the more that I don't know if I agree with that. Like, I see the romance subplots coming in for sure, like I get it. To me, this reads way more literary. It's definitely not your like classic romance storyline or like style of writing. We're basically following 5 kids in a hospital. Most of them are there like long term. They're kind of coming and going, but it's kind of this found family in a hospital setting. The writing style took me a hot minute to get into because we've got this kind of, I guess, all-seeing narrator, but I don't even know if that's actually what it is, like who the narrator is, like how that character works, how they're connected to the story. I don't really understand. The way the story is told, and it does jump around as well quite a lot in timeline, I'm not completely following it. The writing itself is very, 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 very flowery, which isn't really my thing. I'm not the biggest fan of flowery writing. I'm very into like more drawn back writing. I never know what the word for that is. More like staccato rhythms, that kind of thing. But if you are into very like beautifully crafted flowery sentences, then definitely this will be the sort of thing you'll enjoy. I think the author is very, very intelligent. As I kind of said, am struggling with the narrator. I don't really understand how that's working at the moment because I'm just not really following how the narrator is connected to the story. Or maybe you're just not meant to know. But every time I think I know, I'm wrong. So I don't know. It's been a couple of days. I drove down to Cambridge to visit my bestie because she rudely moved to Australia last year because she's a terrible friend. Jokes, I'm very happy for her. But she came back to visit. So I went down to see her for a few days. So I've been gone, I've been away, but I'm back and I finished the book. I actually listened to probably 2/3 of this on the drive. I will say, this is more a technical issue than anything else, but the Bluetooth in my car is kind of, I guess, broken, as in an ex-boyfriend like 3 years ago broke it while claiming that he was fixing it, and then, I don't know, you know those sorts of men who are like, yeah, I totally know how to fix that, and literally don't have a clue, and then just press loads of buttons. Yeah, basically I can't figure out how to play things through my car. So I was just playing it on my phone speaker, which meant that anytime I went on the motorway, I couldn't really hear anything that was happening in the audiobook. Anyway, that was a really long ramble to say that I finished. Other than the bits that I did miss via the motorway situation, this was very slow and like more of a reflective book. I don't know if I'd call it a romance. Definitely not primarily. Like, I feel like this was marketed as a romance, and I feel like if you're a primary like romance lover, you might be surprised. Like, it just might not be what you're expecting. Because I think this is a literary fiction with like a romance subplot, like a subplot. It's way more to do with this like found family, like group of friends. And then it's very like reflective, flowery writing. I kind of said all this before. Flowery writing is not my favourite thing. I think it's beautiful. I think the author should write poetry. Like, she gives me that vibe. She also narrated the audiobook, which I think is cool. She has a very nice voice, actually. I did kind of say in my last check-in that I was very confused about the narrator. That is all answered at the end, but my God, was I confused throughout. Like, it made no sense to me until the end, and then, like, it does answer it, so I guess if that's something you struggle with throughout the book, just stick it out, because you are going to get an answer. But I was so lost for so much of this book. It's a very well crafted book. Like, I can tell the author spent a lot of time working on each sentence and crafting the sentences. It's not really my like desired writing style, but I think if you like flowery, poetic style of writing, then it's done very well. Definitely check your trigger warnings. I mean, I think it's the kind of book that you would know that going into anyway, but like, do. I'm glad that I finally read this, because this is one that I've owned for a really long time, and I also think it's cool because the author is very young. I can't remember exactly how old, but I want to say she was like 18 or something when she wrote this, which I think is really sick. So glad that I was able to read her debut. I want to say that she's writing a fantasy next. I always see her pop up on Instagram, like talking about, I think it's a fantasy book. I think this was well written. It's not my like preferred, desired writing style, but if you do like flowery writing, then it's done very well. And if it's like a subject matter you're interested in, know that it's slow paced and know that it's reflective, but the writing's good. And I kind of think that's all I have to say. So I think we're gonna put this one down, and I think we're gonna just move swiftly on to the next book. Okay, we are back to pick our second book of the video. I think we have a few more comments since the last time I did this a few days ago. So we now have 607 comments to pick from, which is exciting. And I think we're just gonna get right on into it because I'm excited / nervous to see what we're gonna be reading next. So book option number 1 is One by One. What's that? Oh, is that a Freida McFadden? I think it is. Oh, guys. I have been craving a Freida McFadden read recently. We'll see what it's up against, but that is a strong option. A strong option. And a thriller. That would be such a lovely contrast as well from I Fell in Love with Hope. Okay, let's see what option number 2 is, but I'm gonna be so for real with you guys. Or we might be going with that. Okay, book option number 2. Oh my God, that's so funny. It's the same person's comment. It's Love Theoretically. I'm going with One by One by Freida McFadden. Sorry, I'm not even gonna pretend to deliberate because I'm really excited. Sorry. But thank you so much for both of your comments. You picked well. I'm really excited. I just feel like it's been ages since I've read a Freida, and we all know I've been in a book slump, and we all know that Freida McFadden is often the answer to the book slump. So That could be a really good option. Okay, book number 2, One by One, Freida McFadden. Let's get into it. I am convinced that Freida McFadden is the answer to the book slump because I'm halfway through this book already. I'm on page 132 and I've read all of that in one day. One day. And I feel like I've been reading for an hour. And this is what always happens with her books. They are just bingeable. In this book, we're following Claire and her husband and then a bunch of their friends. So it's basically like a group of them and kind of like a stranger that only one of them knows. They go into the woods and, because they're meant to be going to this like place, whatever, it doesn't really matter. They're going to this place. Their van breaks down and they get stuck in the middle of the woods. I guess it's kind of maybe like what's that, Agatha Christie, and then there were none. That kind of vibe where we're going to lose them one by one, I'm presuming. But so far, we've already had a death. I already have a bunch of theories. I've read a few of Freida's books now, and I have spotted a pattern in her twists. So I do feel like I know who it's like kind of going to be, like what the twist is going to be. Could be so wrong, but I have kind of spotted, it's not necessarily a pattern in her twists, well, kind of a pattern. It's like a theme, if you will, of how her twists usually go. But I don't want to say it because I don't want it to be like a moment where I spoil books for other people, because it's not even necessarily a spoiler. Like, it might not be this in this book, but it has been in a few of her other books that I have read, which makes me think that I might know like the twist of this one, but very, very willing to be proven wrong. So far, I'm just having fun. As I kind of said when I got this book, I have just been craving a Freida McFadden read. There's just something about them. They're twisty, they're fun, like they're just a good fun time, and it was just what I needed at the moment. I knew I needed something twisty. She has one of those writing styles where every single chapter ends in a like, and I couldn't believe this is gonna happen, and then like it makes you want to read the next chapter. It's just one of those super bingeable books. I'm having a good old time so far. Guys, I've had a day. I've had a day. Guys, since I last spoke to you, which was not that many hours ago, I have done a full trial shift for a new job and then drove back from that trial shift and my car has just given out on me, as in the brakes stopped working while I was driving and the engine has just gone. I don't know a lot about cars, but I'm told that the brakes and the engine are two fairly fundamental parts of the car. The brakes came out while I was driving. I think the Fiat might be a goner. So nobody is allowed to skip any of the ads on this video. Thanks so much. Oh, anyway, to cheer myself up, I came home. What a day. I came home and I finished one by one. So I thought we would chat. It didn't end how I thought it was going to end. I mean, the theme that I've kind of picked up in Freida's twists was kind of still there, but I still didn't get it. I didn't get it, so love that. There's always a psychopath in every Freida book, and this one was no different. This was just really, really fun. Just exactly the kind of book that I needed. I knew that I was craving a Freida McFadden, and it just hits. It just delivers. I still got a few more on my TBR. I think I just maybe need to pick up some more, honestly, because sometimes they are just exactly what I'm craving. And I flew through this book. I've read this entire book today. And like, I feel like it took me 3 hours. Like, I don't read any book, any author quicker than I read Freida McFadden. I was engaged the whole way through. The plot twist got me. Like, honestly, kind of, what more can I ask from a thriller? Like, I just had fun. I don't know if I have a favourite Freida McFadden. I feel like they're all kind of on the same level for me, the ones that I've read. But I enjoyed this one. It was a good groovy time and I'm excited to read more of hers. I don't think I have too much more to say other than that. So short, sweet update. I'm gonna go cry about my car. But in the meantime, you guys can find out what the third book is. Very different, I'll tell you that. Okay, pals, we are picking our third and final book for this week. So far, I feel like you guys have picked pretty good. We've had a literary, romance, and a thriller. So we've had good range, which I like. I'm excited to see what book number 3 is going to be. So we're going to pick the first option, which is Powerless by Elsie Silver. Okay, I don't want a romance. I really don't want a romance. I mean, I love that series. It's such a fun series. We'll see what option number 2 is. I'm kind of hoping it's good. Okay, Powerless versus Acts of service. That is such a different choice. Such a different choice. Okay. It's tiny as well. I think we're gonna pick acts of service. Sorry, just because I'm so not in a romance mood. Thank you so much for both of your comments though. I think I'm gonna pick acts of service. I have no idea what to expect with this book, but it's tiny, it's a literary fiction, and we're gonna read it, I guess. So, acts of service it is. Okay. Are you guys ready for the least cohesive review of your entire lives? Because I started and finished acts of service. And I fear that I don't have one thought in my brain that is gonna make any sense. Let's start with what is this book about? We're following Eve, who is in like a loving relationship with her girlfriend. And then one night, I guess she just gets bored or like gets this like impulsive streak in her, and she decides to post nudes onto the internet. And then through doing that, she meets, what's her name? Olivia. And they have they go for, was it a coffee, I think? Or like a meal? They like meet up. This random woman off the internet via these photos and this like online forum. They meet up, have a conversation. And from that conversation, Olivia is in a relationship with a man called, why have I forgotten everyone's names? Nathan. And then the three of them basically kind of start a relationship. And you're following, I guess, the like ins and outs, the power dynamics of said relationship. It is such a difficult book to sum up to you. There were fascinating conversations in here, characters in here. I think the writing was great. I really didn't know what to expect going in. I thought it could be very up my alley, and actually I think I enjoyed it more than I was expecting to. But it is a really difficult book to like recommend, for one thing, and also to like summarize, because it's a strange read in a lot of ways. We're following their relationship very intimately, and you get all of the layers of their relationship very close, like you are watching those moments very closely, but then equally there are moments that feel very detached, which I think the way they play with those different elements of storytelling is actually really interesting. But the conversations about like power dynamics and sexuality are very fascinating and very well done, and I think the three characters are very nuanced and interesting. You're not necessarily going to like them all, but that, as we all know, is never a problem for me. Like, I like a nuanced, flawed character, and the kind of like relationships between all three of them are explored in just such a fascinating way. I did want to give you like a midway check-in, and I got to about 40% through this book and was going to. I like set up the camera and I was just like, I don't know what to say. And I kind of still a little bit feel like that. It's just such a difficult book to summarize to you, but I can't even really tell you why, which is why I say this is such a incohesive review. I did enjoy this. I think I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it more than I was expecting to, and I listened to quite a lot of the audiobook, and I think the audiobook was well done. But it's a unique little book. If you like books about like power dynamics, I feel like Sally Rooney does that a lot. This is very different from a Sally Rooney book, but I think if you find those conversations in a Sally Rooney book about like power dynamics in relationships, I feel like Intermezzo particularly kind of goes a little bit similar to where this book goes, but this book kind of takes that and runs with it and goes, I guess, a lot further in terms of exploring this like non-monogamous relationship, looking at the dynamics between all three of them and like how those shift throughout the book are very interesting. So yeah, I don't know, not particularly cohesive, sorry, but I did like it. But it's just a difficult one to like say you should read this, because not everyone will like it. For sure. I don't know, maybe read some reviews, see if it could be for you. I feel like this book left me a little bit clueless, but equally the writing, the characters, the relationships, it was all very fascinating to me. So I guess take of that what you will. If it sounds like something that could be up your alley, give it a whirl, tell me what you think, because I'm very interested in what other people think. But I'm glad that I read it. I am, and I've just seen that it's a debut. And like, what a statement of a debut. Like, she went bold, like go big or go home, and I kind of love that for her. Guys, that is us done for this week's reading. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted comments. I definitely want to do this again because there are like another 700 comments that you guys have left. So I definitely want to do this video again, but thank you so much to the people who chose these books for me. If you do want to add any comments, if you want to get involved for the next time I do this video, if you go back, it will be probably like a month earlier than this video, but go back to my physical TBR video and any books that you see in that video, if you comment them down below, hopefully the next time I do this, your comment might get picked. So if you have a book that you see here that you want me to read, comment it on that video. But I thought we would quickly summarise. I feel like we've had a bit of a mixed bag this week. We had I Fell in Love with Hope, which was like a dark literary fiction, advertised as a romance, I don't know. Not my like typical like desired writing style, but equally very well written, very like poetic and flowery. Then, just exactly what I was craving, One by One, Freida McFadden. Twist got me, it was fun, it was quick, just exactly what I needed. And then, could not be more different from everything else, Acts of Service. Another tiny literary fiction that just felt completely unique and such a fascinating character study. Definitely 3 very, very different books, but I'm glad that we have another 3 off of the physical TBR. I'm going to pop these back now. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new, please subscribe. I would love to have you like the video, comment, all of that fun stuff, and I will catch you in the next one. I love you. Goodbye.